Welcome, it's finally time to start the true route, and before I begin, I just want to throw out some thoughts and ideas that I had. I think, at best, I can expect a bittersweet ending. I think Chaos Child, like Chaos Head, is the kind of game that facilitates happy endings. And if you consider that all the Return New Generation Madness murders are partially due to Serika wanting to entertain Takeru in her twisted sense that Takeru needs to be happy, I think something needs to be done about Serika in order to stop that, to avert that whole situation. And that's where the bittersweet part comes in, since Takeru sees Serika as his childhood friend, obviously. Then again, we saw in the previous routes that, I believe it was the common route, that Serika was made up from Takeru's mind. Plus we also have Sakuma to deal with, obviously. And I don't know how it will all fit in. We saw as well at the end where Takeru tried to basically change Serika into a normal girl, which she highly objected to. So it might be some kind of version of the ending that's quite similar to those events. But there's only one way to find out. So let's begin. I'm kinda sad though, since this means this game is almost over. And I'm not sure how long this is going to be, if this is a proper route or as short as the true ending of Science Gate Zero. Sometimes I have these dreams. Sometimes I have them on the night after I get a bad test grade, or when I have a fight with a friend. Anytime I'm not feeling well when I sleep, I have these dreams. And I only remember the dreams when I'm asleep. When I wake up, I don't remember anything about them. The dreams are strange that way. In the dreams, I'm a murderer. Oh, this is from Serika's point of view. This is Serika's route, basically, then. The first people I killed were the parents of my childhood friend. I killed them because he wanted me to do it. In his heart, he was happy. So I was too. But the murders didn't stop there. I kept killing people in secret after that. Why, you ask? Because I needed to continue the game that the boy longed for in his heart. I would leave him hints and small contradictions at the murder scene, so that they could slowly track down who I was. The boy loved the game, and I saw how happy it made him, and it made me happy too. In the dreams, there was a man helping me with the murders. It was the doctor who ran the dorm where he stayed. I didn't like the doctor. He wasn't normal. Every time he appeared in my dreams, he would suggest a cruel, horrible way of killing someone. But he would laugh and smile, No, I say the same thing. Your boy wouldn't enjoy anything less. Very well then, if that's what it would take for the boy to enjoy it, that's what I would have to do. The man and I killed many people in the dreams, in the worst ways imaginable. In my dreams, I was psychic. I didn't know exactly what the man was trying to do to the boy. He was planning something awful. But I knew the boy would not lose to the man. The boy I loved was very, very strong. He was my hero. Come to think of it, there was another man in my dreams, sometimes. It was a man I knew well. Normally, he was a lazy, easygoing man, the kind you could never imagine doing something wrong. Vakui, probably. The committee is willing to let us play out, provided you don't interfere with us. We're interested to see what happens to him. He was part of some organization called the Committee, the kind of thing you would see on a TV show about urban legends. He said he was watching me and the boy at all times. Even for a dream, that seems a little too much, I said, and almost laughed. By the way, one of the things I see this playing out is if it somehow turns out that in the end this was just basically child Takaru being experimented on. But then again, it wouldn't make sense since the whole earthquake happened, so never mind. For some reason the idea popped into my mind that somehow maybe Takaru was captured and experimented upon to see how his powers worked, since he is one of the few true maniacs. So I would think that people would be interested in him since he would be able to create Sarika. And we've seen those research results in the computer where it was suggested that Sarika just only existed in his head. And this being told as being a dream, I really feel like at the end I might wake up in some kind of hospital or laboratory. I don't know, it kind of smells like it was all a dream ending, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I guess this is true Chaos child and Chaos head. Not sure what is real and what is a delusion. By the way, how are you getting along with your everyday life? You wouldn't want to slip up and have someone find out who you are, right? After you told me that, I realized something. In the dreams, for some reason, I didn't have a home. Scratch my previous thoughts. What if Sarika is the only true person? And Sarika is was in fact the protagonist all along? And maybe Takeru and all the others aren't real. What if Serika is the true victim here? He found me the home of a girl who lived by herself. I killed her and had my place to live. Anytime he appeared in my dream, he would tell me about the strangest things. These swords, gigalomaniacs, the truth about the new generation madness, the murders that had occurred in Shibuya before the earthquake, the artificial gigalomaniac generated device, and Gale's child syndrome, and the sumo stickers. The other me, who was watching me in my dreams, would always look down in confusion. Why was I having these dreams? Sure, whenever there was a program on TV about urban legends, I would watch it. But this was just a small hobby of mine. It wasn't something that should be showing up in my dreams. One day, he was scolding me like I was at school. Sending him to the hospital basement was going a little too far, you know. Now I had to move all the things we were keeping down there. I don't like trouble, you know. It was some kind of lab, filled with all kinds of machines. I was surprised to find something like this in the basement of a place I knew so well. Oh no, that's not right. This was a dream. Impossible things happened all the time in dreams. Sorry. As the middle manager type, I have to tell you these things. Anyway, just keep him on a tighter leash, alright? If you do, I won't do anything. You just need to be a little more careful, okay? These strange dreams kept happening, but when I woke up, I didn't remember anything. Just when I was thinking of going to a doctor about all this, I had that dream. It was the most realistic dream I'd ever had. November 4th. It was so realistic. I even knew the date. I was in a panic. She had found my secret.
あなたよね。南沢千里を使っていたのは。お前に言われたくないよ、クルスノノ。
I screwed up and let her find out who I was. How could I have known she would find me out because of the cell phone strap he had given me as a present? I quickly ripped off the strap and threw it away. It made me sad, but I didn't have a choice. I hadn't intended to kill her. Her death would be too much of a shock for him. He might quit playing my game. I would have to kill her without him finding out, and then come up with something. I drew my D-sword and tried to kill her. And then I saw something in my dream. He and she might have a future like this. was distracted and missed their vitals. I swung the sword again, but then...
クルス、おのえ！
タクル
It was him. He knew now. I couldn't talk my way out of this. No, 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 no.
逃げて
Run. That was what she said just before she collapsed. Of course, she was talking to him. But I was the one who ran instead. I think that's where it all started. Where the me in the dream started to go wrong. And then the dream ended.
やめてタク
He was holding his D-sword high and looking down at me. And I was begging him not to do something. This is the end of the common route.
私から目的を奪わないで生まれてからいろんな人の心を読んできたみんな悩んで迷ってるそれでも生きてるのが信じられないなんで笑ったりできるのそれが何のためか自分で分かってないのに私はそっちに普通になんかなりたくないの
I remember that line. For the first time in my life, I cried for real.
ダメだ。お前は普通の女の子になるんだ。
やめてお願いお願いだからずっと私にタクを助けさせてよ
I remember naming one of my parts after that line.
それじゃあ、さよなら。
Until the last second, I was gazing at the face of the boy I loved. I would never forget it. February 11th, 2016, Thursday. (2016) Isn't that after basically the common route happened? I woke up feeling something on my cheek. I put my hand up to it and felt tears. What dream was I having that made me so sad? Or were they tears of joy? I wasn't even sure. But whenever I had a dream, I would cry. It made my eyes all puffy and red.
こういう体質なのかな。
Or maybe I needed to have a doctor look at me after all. But I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't even remember what the dreams were about. I do wonder. Is this after Takeru made her a normal girl and she remembers her previous life in the form of dreams, or is there more going on? I stretched out on the bed to try and feel better. The light coming through the curtains was bright. The weather outside seemed to be very good. Today was February 11th. It was National Foundation Day and school was closed, but I was supposed to go out and meet a friend. So I had to get up and get ready fast.
葵？はい、もしもし。
セリカ、今どこ？
うち。
は？
え？
まだ出てないの？
I moved the phone away from my ear and checked the time. It was 10 minutes before we were supposed to meet. The shopping mall where we were supposed to meet was a 20-minute walk away. Whoops. I realized that I didn't remember setting my alarm the night before. And I didn't have a bike.
ごめん、すぐ
I just have to say, I love her room.
ああ、いいよいいよ。ちょうどよかった。ねえ、駅集合でもいい？
出る。別にいいけど、いつものとこ行くんじゃないの？
彩香がいきなり暇だって。で、渋谷行きたいんだって。
え？
My heart pounded loudly.
なんかまずい？
Ah, the mention of Shibuya.
大丈夫。オッケー。
I talked fast to cover up my panic. I told her I'd be there as soon as I could, and hung up. I wasn't supposed to go to Shibuya. That's what they had told me. They didn't tell me why. But it had something to do with a traffic accident I was in 3 months ago. Well, even without the accident, I really didn't feel like going to Shibuya that much. Yokohama had a lot of places that were just as fancy and fashionable, and going all the way to a crowded town like that on my day off was just exhausting. I do wonder if they used the excuse for a traffic accident to cover up her confusion. Since 3 months prior would make that November. So that fits actually. I didn't like big crowds anyway. When I saw a lot of people at once, my head would start to ache. I would feel something strange in my chest. Was that just another thing my body did? I feel like she's going to find out another way.
まあ、いいか。
My friends had been nice enough to invite me, and it was my guardian's fault for not telling me why I shouldn't go to Shibuya anyway. He lived in Shibuya, So if I saw them there, I would tell them that. I leaped out of my bed and began to get ready. Contents of my stomach flowed down the drain and disappeared. When you felt like you had to vomit, throwing up was the best way to feel better. Perhaps I just either were gone now though.
大丈夫？
I was rubbing my back. I raised my hand to show I was fine.
なけなしの1800円が。
I seen a group of college kids having fun. And suddenly, I felt like I needed to vomit. But really looks like her memories are just repressed.
これってセリカの頭の病気と関係あるの？わかんない。
3 months ago, on November 6th in Shibuya. It was the day of the Shibuya Restoration Festival. Supposedly, I'd been hit by a car full of people who had come to see the festival. I say supposedly because I couldn't really remember it. All I remember was a very bright light. Headlights, maybe? The next thing I knew, I had woken up in a hospital bed. There were wounds all over my body, particularly my stomach. And I was wrapped up in bandages like a mummy. Okay, so this is now obviously a clear continuation from where the common route ended. But what was worse than that was the effect it had on my memories. I remembered my name. I remembered how old I was. I remembered my favorite TV shows. I remembered the day of the Shibuya earthquake. I remembered the faces of idols I liked. How to use flick input on a smartphone. But what school I went to, where I lived, who my parents were. Basically all traces of who she really is and what she did is just gone. All of it was gone. I tried to remember, but I couldn't. Instead, sometimes I would suddenly see images in my mind, like clips from a film. Sometimes it was a collapsed town, or rows and rows of TV screens, or a puddle of blood, but none of them seemed real, and I couldn't imagine why I was seeing them anyway. The doctors told me that maybe I used to like watching movies, and that's where the images came from. Maybe they were right. I didn't know.
大丈夫？はい、これ。
I really hope to see CG of her and her friends at some point. I can't run to get me a bottle of tea.
Thank you.
I took it gracefully, raised up my mouth, and spit out into the drain again.
畜生め。あんたさ。何？具合が悪いのはしょうがないにしても、もうちょっと女の子らしくしなって、もったいない。
Huh? What were they talking about? I felt like someone had told me the same thing before. When I thought about that, the urge of vomit faded away,